on deck.
I also like the fact that this tax reform agenda is being put to place, but what I'm looking at here is the bigger picture first. I want it to be in a way that it will be very transparent for all of us to follow and know what we are doing exactly in this country, because if it is not that way, we are paying tax over everything. And for a common man, how much is the person earning to be paying tax here and there? I'm not saying it's not good, but let it be transparent. Just like they've mentioned here that it's an harmonized tasking and levies. We should at least know how it's going to go, know how the regulatory system is going to be, so that we know our right, like you said. Because if we don't, pay tax here and there, as in for an average man that do not earn much, how much will you now have for your own self? How much will you save at the end of the day? So yeah, embracing this tax reform agenda, okay, it's a nice thing to me, but I just feel the transparency should be there more, so that we know what we're doing, seriously. And like some people will say, okay, this tax reform is going to bring a lot of, you know, a lot of structure, a lot of balancing and all that. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. 2026, like I said, is going to be a year of great things that we're going to see great changes. So I believe it starts from here, and from here moving forward, we would have other changes and that will better the country moving forward.
I'm really always tapping into this, your stronghold of 2026 proclamation of it going being a great year. I'm tapping into it. I'm tapping into it. But then you said what you said, and yes. Let's move to the next story. Former world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua has been injured in a road crash that occurred today along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway near the Shagamu interchange in Ogun State. The accident involved a Lexus SUV conveying Joshua and a stationary truck. Two occupants of the vehicle died at the scene, while Joshua sustained minor injuries and was taken to a private hospital in Lagos for treatment. Authorities say the crash happened after the vehicle allegedly oversped and attempted a wrongful overtaking. The Federal Road Safety Corps confirmed that 5 adult males were involved, with 2 fatalities, 1 injured, and 2 others unharmed. Emergency responders arrived within minutes, evacuated the victims, and secured the area. Police say investigations into the circumstances surrounding the crash are ongoing. President Bola Tinubu, alongside Ogun and Lagos State government, has expressed condolences to the families of the deceased and wished Anthony Joshua a speedy recovery. Officials say the boxer is stable and receiving medical care, and as authorities continue to monitor the situation and appeal for calm and privacy for those affected. This is a very sad story to start with. Very sad story. I think from the late hours of yesterday, that was where we received this news. This one, it just immediately grabbed my attention, because we were like, you know, there's how somebody will become very popular and it almost feels like you know the person like, yes, you know the person,
you've not met the person
before, and you're like, oh my God, hope he's alive, hope nothing, you know, and
happened to the person.
Even his friends that and his aides, his aides that were, you know, involved in the accident as well, and the ones who died, I felt really bad for them. I felt really bad for their families and for Anthony Joshua as well. But beyond all of those, all the celebrity angle, all of, you know, the talk about Anthony Joshua, we are talking about road safety issues here in Nigeria, because, you know, according to reports, the accident happened along Lagos, that Lagos-Ibadan Express way near Shagamu. And that road has unfortunately become almost a symbolic almost a symbolic of tragedies. Yes, I've stayed in Lagos and I've taught between what do they call Lambe, all of those Ogun states and Lagos very well. So I understand how that road is. It's almost as if every time there's an accident in that road. So when I saw the news, I was like, now let's, okay, sorry for the, you know, loss of these wonderful people, wonderful lives, bright young men. But then let's talk about road safety issues, because we are going to lose more lives. We are talking about them because they are popular. But a lot of lives have been lost, you know, there. And the Federal Road Safety have come out to say it's overspeeding, wrongful overtaking, you know, the stationary trucks, you know. We have heard this so many times about overspeeding and whatnot. But 2 people are dead now. Have you seen the state of that road? I don't want to dwell too much on this because we're going to be talking about road safety issues on, you know, the discussion segment. But then, I mean, I just want to say sorry for the lives that were lost and to the families of these people. These stories, I mean, it's really heartbreaking.
It's very, really very heartbreaking. Coming from the fact that he actually finished his boxing program, was returning, and then had this accident. It's actually a sad one because he must have had plans of celebration after that and doing other things. But now this happened. It's something that none of us planned for. Him himself did not plan for it. But it happened. But like they described, that is overspeeding. Okay, overspeeding. Before someone could overspeed in a road, you must have seen the condition of the road to be on that overspeed. But let's just take it that it should be what is said there. But at least, let me not say our road safety should do better. But to move forward, then.
So many questions here, Mary. But then let's move to another sad story again.
Okay.
Yes, we are counting losses and it's bad. 7 journalists and media workers attached to the Nigerian Television Authority, Gombe, and that's NTA, and allied institutions have been killed in a fatal road accident along the Biliri-Kumo Road while returning from a wedding in Katongo. The victims include senior newsroom managers, media officers, and a driver, all members of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NTA Chapel. The management of NTA Gombe confirmed the death, describing the incident as a painful loss for the station and the wider media community, while praying for mercy for the deceased and comfort for their families. 4 others survived the crash and are currently receiving medical treatment. Gombe State's Governor Muhammadu Inuayaya has expressed deep shock and grief, describing the deaths as a major blow to journalists and public service in the state. He assured the government is supporting the injured and standing with the families, the NUJ, and the media community at this difficult time.
It's actually a sad one.
Very sad story. 7 journalists, 7 media workers dead. I mean, let it sink in again, Mary. Let it sink in again. Because these were not, you know, people on official dangerous assignments that will say, okay, they went on. They were returning from a wedding, a moment of joy. They were returning from a celebration. They were returning, coming back from a community. They went for merriment. And these were professional newsmen, you know, newsroom managers, media officers, and the driver. All of these people are very important people in our society. Very, very important people. I'm speaking from as a journalist now, because I know how, how important, these are our colleagues.
Of course.
I know how important, you know, they are to public voice, and now we have lost them. How long are we going to keep on losing important people in the society? How long are we going to keep on losing lives? Whether important or, I don't know which life is not even important in this world.
Important. Every life is important.
So, I mean, when we see, so I'm speaking as a journalist now, when journalists, I mean, the hurt is very deep because we are seeing high-risk profession. This is a very high-risk profession in Nigeria. You know, these are people that are the core of everything from insecurity, economic pressure, political this, political that, and now they go on the road and they still have to be faced with, okay, because our roads are not good or because one thing or the other happened. You know, they have not really confirmed what happened in their own case, what went wrong. But then, you know, I just don't know why Nigerians, why we normalize mass casualty accidents in routine. If you see most of our news, it's always about how many dead. It's because we do not take some of those news. This dead, that dead, this one dead. We have to do something about road safety in Nigeria.
Exactly what I
It's not just about the federal road safety coming out to, you know, give press statements. It's about road engineering. It's about lighting. It's about signage, because I think this happened during the night time. It's about driver education. It's about vehicle standards. It's about, I like when, was it last week or earlier this week, we saw that they want to, you know, take end of road vehicles out of the roads and, you know, begin to use them for other things in an innovative way. I think that is good, because those are some of the causes of all of this. If you, the rickety cars that are still on our highways, that's a problem too. And that's because a lot of people do not know, there are no rules regulating how end-of-use vehicles can be, utilized after they are no longer roadworthy. There are no proper driver education. We remember the time with Fina's sister.
Exactly.
The truck and
the
whatever. Are those people educated? Are people who drive? When I mean education, I'm not saying go and sit there in the 4 walls of the university and start learning whatnot. Education can come in any form. Education is awareness about something. Know about what you are doing. Know the intricacies of what you are doing. Have an idea of what you are doing. Have proper understanding of what you are doing. How many signages do we have on the road? How many okay, in my where I live, I've seen on the road that they put something that if you're overspeeding, it counts and all of that. So it makes drivers want to be cautious, because whenever you have a problem and you go to renew your driver's license, they'll track your data and say, oh, there was a time where you disobeyed road rules. So all of those things, how many do we have? And what are we doing with enforcement? So this is a call to the Road Safety Commission to come, not just to come out and start giving press statements anytime accidents occurs, is to ensure that all of these things, are put in place to ensure that we are safe.
Aside the road safety, also is a call for the government to look properly into all these incidents happening, because, of course, aside all the wahala we've been going through in this country, the kidnapping and all that back and forth we've been experiencing, we can't afford to keep losing people in this manner, in this way. It doesn't give a good record of us, the Nigerians, because many outsiders will be afraid to even pass our roads, like, I don't want to have accident and die. So what about people that do not have money for airfares? Of course, they're going to take the roads, and checking that roads are actually not good, especially at night, where you know that you don't even have all these speed limits and all that, and you're just driving. And at the end of the day, we'll start hearing here. And like you said, we can't even count, because what about those that had accidents and we didn't know about? Maybe they are not popular, or they're not, and they didn't count that one. So we need our roads to be looked into, so that we can have less of this accident, or even none of it at all, because like you said, every life is important.
Very important.
Because those families now will be very, 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 very unhappy.
Can imagine this
in
festive
this period. That are
I
supposed
mean,
to
no
be
period
celebrating.
is good to die, but
exactly, but this is Christmas. That they are happy to. What about the occasion they went for? The person in question will be so sad.
Yes.
Because coming to my occasion, returning back and having accidents is not a good thing.
At all.
And people will talk about it.
At all.
They came to your occasion and now they are no longer alive.
At all.
It doesn't make sense. And these are our own colleagues too. And it doesn't speak well of us at all. So the road safety have a lot of work to do when it comes to that. Like you said, it's education. Being educated doesn't mean that you should go to the 4 walls of the university or anything. There are other ways to educate drivers and, put them in check and everything, so that we can control this particular repeated incident always.
Exactly. Okay. I guess that's the much for that. Let's take the last story. The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises has warned the federal government to ensure that the recent drop in rice prices does not hurt local producers. The group says while cheaper rice brings relief to consumers, it could threaten farmers if not properly managed. Speaking today, CPPE Chief Executive Officer Dr. Muda Yusuf said government must balance consumer welfare with farmer survival, warning that unsustainable low prices could force producers out of business. He called for targeted support, including a guaranteed minimum price system where government buys rice if market prices fall too low. Echoing this concern, the Branch Farmers Limited Chief Executive Officer Sandra Victor Guafan said continued rice imports and high input costs are already pushing farmers into losses. She warned that without urgent intervention, many farmers may abandon rice production by the 2026 farming season, undermining Nigeria's food security goals. Another very important story.
I love rice
very
a
important
lot.
staple. Very, very important one. I mean, and I think raising raising this concern or this issue is quite very important. Yes, it's very, very important because I know that we can agree that yes, prices are dropping. The prices for rice are dropping, and you know, people are happy. I remember it was yesterday. Chinatu was telling me that I think we were arguing that food prices went up this time. She was like, "No, rice is quite low compared to last year during this season, festive season." And I was like, "No, I think it's a matter of demand and supply in Nigeria. They size you in the market, look at you very well, and then they say, I'll sell rice to Mary 3,000 naira, and they sell rice to me 2,000 naira.
Exactly.
Like they just size us, and they feel like maybe this one gets something for pocket and all of those things. But then that's an aside. There's nobody that doesn't want cheaper food, Mary. There's nobody, especially in this very hard economy where things are either going up or coming down. In short, it's like you just walk past this shop, this price is this amount, and then you're coming back and it's a different price. It's either it has gone higher or lower. So I feel like it's right for Dr. Yusuf to point that if rice prices fall, farmers may begin to lose money. But then I know farming is not charity. Let's put it into better perspective here. Farming is not charity. You know, we have to understand that inputs are expensive. We're talking of fertilizer, talking of fuel, you know, talking of labor, talking of transport. You have to deal with perishable goods and how to preserve goods and whatnot. And if farmers cannot break even, I feel like they can stop producing at the end of the day if all of these things are not checked. And once they stop, we understand that supply will collapse. And if supply collapse, we'll go back to that stage of again we are not even going to. Is it that prices the little left they are going to increase the prices of the little being supplied to people, and this is where I believe that this idea of guaranteed minimum price comes in. A system where the government kind of steps in to buy rice if market prices crash too low. So I feel like this is not a strange economics. We have seen this happen in many countries. I mean, we did economics in secondary school, and I can remember being told about all of this thing, especially when we were learning about demand and supply and whatnot. And we've also seen many countries do this quietly to protect farmers' rights. It's very important, and also stabilize the market. So it's more like there should be guaranteed minimum price. It's not too high, not too low. Let there be a balance so that everybody is happy at the end of the day. We are buying rice and we are smiling. Farmers are selling and producing and, you know, farming, and they are smiling and they are gaining too. But then I think a farmer, Sandra, a farmer from the branch association farmers, or what do they call them? She added another layer to it, which I'm very concerned about when I was taking the news. Let me get it right. Okay, about imports and high production costs. Yes, for farmers, that is squeezing a lot of farmers. I can remember. Let me throw back to when I conducted a field research for a climate change project, and we got to talk to some farmers. And we went to a farm. We met a farmer there, and we talked to him about, you know, how it has been, especially with climate change. But then moving aside climate change, how it is affecting the economy. And he said a lot of things. There were so many challenges. You know, the cost at which they even buy land to farm is another thing again. It has gone up. Fertilizers has gone up. And then they have to, let's leave farmer headers crisis now aside the whole thing. But then they have to deal with climate change, deal with a whole lot of things. And for you to tackle climate change as a farmer in this time where you cannot predict rainfall, you cannot predict dry season, you have to be prepared. You see that you are using a lot of fertilizer. You see that you are finding a way to channel water or something to your, you know, better ways of irrigation and whatnot. So all of these things are squeezing farmers. And if imports continue unchecked, and we know that most of those fertilizers are not even gotten from Nigeria, most of them are imported. So I feel like what their concerns are here, the farmers, is that if imports continue, to rise, and and it's not unchecked, if it continues to be unchecked, while costs remain high, then local rice production will become very, very unattractive, and will become a problem for both, like I said before, consumers and them, the farmers. And I always have unpopular opinion, and honestly, we have to talk about cheap imports, and we know that cheap import can be a very good thing. Yeah. Yes, if we get cheap imports, it will destroy local capacity, whether we like it or not. If you are getting, because most of these imported things are sold for cheaper prices, and Nigerians, you cannot help us. We will find a way to just go for what is cheaper, because the country is not, the economy is not smiling on us. So if you get something cheaper, Mary, wouldn't you want to go and get that stuff? So we want to get something, and all of those things weakens the capacity of our local, farmers, especially in long term. So let's look at the long term now. Where do we stand? Let's do checks and balances. Nigeria has been here before. We are big on agriculture, so we have been here before. It's not like we haven't been here before. So if we look at it very well, if we abandon local production, we will become more dependent on imports. Of course. Which is not so good. And then we'll start crying again that foreign exchange is pouncing on us. We can't do this, we can't do that, So balance here is very delicate. We just have to do that check and balance. See how to protect consumers, rights from high prices. See how to, protect farmers too, so that they will not run into loss at the end of the day. They will not collapse. And also all of those ups and downs with market value, market prices, those market valuations, we just have to do better, because at the end of the day, what we're talking about is food security, and it's very important. Me, I cannot do without food.
I cannot do without eating rice. When I saw it, I'm like, okay. I read the last part. I'm like, that means Nigerians are going to stop producing rice.
Rice.
What food will I be eating again aside? I know we have other food. Yes, like you said, that the government should look into all these things, because, of course, if farmers are not comfortable and things are high and hard for them, they won't come out and sell rice at a very cheaper rate for you to buy, because they are going to run into losses. So anything they are doing is for them to also have a fallback where they can produce more. Because if they do not have a fallback, of course, you don't expect somebody that is producing like 50 bags of rice, 100, to not have a fallback and start selling it to you. Aside all the things that the person has already minus, you talk about paying for labor, you talk about the land, you talk about how to channel water, like you said, and all these things are money. Of course, they are not things that they would, manufacture themselves. All these things involve money. So doing all these things, and people giving out land too for farming, they should consider us too in that aspect.
How would they consider them when everybody is trying to feed now?
Exactly, everybody is trying.
What is the government doing with this? Well, where are we at with mechanized farming?
That is where the government comes in. That's why I said that the government should look into it, because in as much as Nigerians, we need things to go balanced. We need things to be balanced. At the same time, we need a situation where everybody can afford food.
Exactly.
Because if you don't eat, you won't concentrate. Of course, a hungry man is an angry man at the same time.
Okay, I'm concentrating.
So, of course, when the government looks into this issue, it's going to help the farmers, make them more recognized, help them, I think they should hold a conference or something. Let the farmers speak their mind, tell us their challenges. In as much as we know their challenges, they should still do it. Maybe help would come speedily in that aspect. I don't know, but what I'm saying is that when the government helps farmers, it helps us too, the consumers, because when we go to the market and we keep crying about high price here and there, it will make them change their mind to bring the price low. Because if they are bringing the price low at your own complaint, what about them?
You have to find, if government wants to bring the prices, they should find backup for farmers.
Fallback,
was it yesterday we were talking about credit facilities for farmers? Yesterday or last week? No, some of them do not even understand where to go and get loans, get credits and all of those things for farming. So how do you expect them to, So let's just look at it. Let me be sentimental a little here. Yes, because if I was a farmer too, I want to gain.
Of course.
And you are not telling me to bring down
the price
of rice when I know that I'm going through tons to, I'm going through hurdles. I'm going through so many struggles to produce this staple. But then, Mary, I guess that's the much we can.
That's the much we can
said it all, but then that's not all. we have said it, but we want to hear from you. What do you think about the news we've brought, the news stories we've brought to you? Tell us your own idea. Give us your own idea. We want to hear from you, want to learn from you, want to know what you think, because your voice matters as well. So let's go through the recap of the news stories we brought to you. The first story we brought to you was that ANAMBRA's and ZAMFARA aligned with TINUBU'S tax reform agenda. And Anthony Joshua injured in Lagos-Ibadan Express crash, 2 fell dead. 7 journalists, media workers killed in Gombe road crash. And lastly, the federal government has urged to protect local rice farmers as prices fall. And that's the much we can bring to you on the headlines review segment. But let's go on this short break, and we're coming back with a very, very important discussion. Something sobering, but something that has to do with our reality. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
Number 1, synthetic biology advances. Synthetic biology is pushing science into new territory. Using AI-guided gene editing, researchers are engineering organisms to produce biofuels, biodegradable plastics, and even synthetic meat. In 2023, Ginkgo Bioworks announced partnerships to design microbes that can manufacture sustainable chemicals at scale. Moderna and BioNTech are expanding mRNA technology beyond COVID vaccines to treat cancer and rare genetic diseases. The global synthetic biology market is expected to surpass $30 billion by 2030. By 2026, the line between biology and technology will blur even further, making synthetic biology one of the most transformative fields of the decade. So there you have it, 15 more technologies that, alongside the first 17 we covered, are set to define 2026. Together, they show how quickly innovation is moving beyond our screens and into every corner of our life, from the materials we use to the way we connect and even how we think. And if you missed part 1, make sure to check it out next. If you made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Number 6, 6G networks and beyond. 5G is still rolling out worldwide, but work on 6G is already in motion. South Korea, Japan, and Finland are leading trials, with commercial deployment expected around 2030. 6G aims to use terahertz frequencies to deliver speeds up to 100 times faster than 5G and latency as low as 100 microseconds. That's fast enough to support real-time holograms, autonomous fleets, and massive IoT ecosystems. The ITU has begun setting 6G standards, while companies like Nokia and Samsung are actively developing hardware. By 2026, early 6G pilots will give us a glimpse of the post-5G world. Number 5. Space-based internet and satellite mega-constellations. Getting online anywhere on Earth is becoming a reality. SpaceX's Starlink already has over 6,000 satellites in orbit, serving more than 3 million subscribers as of mid-2020.
Good to have you back. This is still the Idea Morning Digest, and now this is the discussion segment here on the Idea Morning Digest. And like I told you before we went on the break, that we're going to be talking about something that focuses on the sobering reality that continues to confront Nigerians daily, the deadly state of our roads and the human cause of preventable crashes. And we've seen that in the last 24 hours alone, 2 separate roads accidents in different parts of the country have claimed lives and sparked national concern. One involved international boxing star Anthony Joshua, who sustained minor injuries in a crash along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, an accident that sadly claimed 2 lives, and another far more devastating claimed the lives of 7 journalists and media workers from NTA Gombe who were returning from a wedding along the Biliri-Kumo Road in Gombe State. Now, these incidents, though different in profile, point to the same troubling issue, which is about road safety failures that continue to turn journeys into tragedies in Nigeria. Tonight, or today, I beg your pardon, we take a closer look at what happened, what authorities are seeing and what this means for road safety in Nigeria. So the Federal Road Safety Corps has confirmed that, The accident involving Anthony Joshua occurred after an alleged case of overspeeding and wrongful overtaking, which led to a collision with a stationary truck. And then it's no longer news that 5 adult males were involved and 2 other lives have been lost, while the boxer sustained major minor injuries and is currently stable in a Lagos hospital. And then in the other news, the 7 journalists attached to 90 Gombe, an allied institution, lost their lives in that fatal accident while returning from a social engagement. And, 4 that survived and are receiving medical care. We don't know the state of their condition that well, but the incident has, sent shockwaves along or across the media community as well. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, alongside the Ogun and Lagos State and Gombe State government have, been expressing their condolences since the late hours of yesterday, especially this morning, to the affected families, while also calling for calm and continued investigation to these accidents. And also, the authorities say inquiries are ongoing, to determine the exact circumstances surrounding both crashes, and especially that of the Gombe state accident involving the MTA workers. And beyond the headlines, these are prominent names, we understand. These are prominent people in Nigeria, very important people in Nigeria. But we want to look at Nigerian roads, because Nigerian roads have remained dangerous and accidents continue to cut across class, profession, status. Accident, no, they check face.
At all.
It's just that they say water no get an accident, no, they check face. They check face at all. We have to look at this issue. Let's talk about road safety in Nigeria. Where are we at? Why do we keep, experiencing all of these issues? I started talking about this in the discussion segment and or in the news segment. First of all, overspeeding and wrong overtaking has persistently killed people. It has taken a lot of life. And let me say something that may sound uncomfortable, Mary. Yes, because I want many Nigerian roads deaths are not mysterious. Yes, no matter how they try to frame these things, that they oversped, the driver tried to overtake the trailer, the trailer did not try to overtake this. How many big trucks road do we have in Nigeria?
I can't
You have keke is dragging one lane.
With truck.
Bike is motorcycle is dragging the same lane. Truck is on that lane.
And you see the roads
remember boat and plane too, that lane.
You see the roads are not very
and they are not wide.
And they are not wide.
So if you see all of these deaths, all of these accidents, all of these incidents are very predictable. They are not happening in silos. They are not happening. They are not things that we can say that we cannot predict. So overspeeding and dangerous overtaking. I would agree that there remain 2 most common causes of fatal crashes, but I'm saying that they are not an excuse, because people have been dying. These are people of status. These are people of class. People that are not of status and class too have died on the same road. People that do not have the same educational level as these people have died on the same road. People that do not have, their pockets are not as huge as these people, so have died on the same road. So it's not just about commercial drivers. We have to talk about, it's not just even about private car owners. It's not just about convoys. It's not just only about people in a hurry. Yes, I know we have to talk about people in a hurry, especially in festive periods. People are traveling, people are trying to meet up with friends, people are trying to do this, people are trying to do. But, we have lived in this culture in Nigeria that often celebrates speed as confidence, and aggression as skill. When somebody is moving, we'll be like, that man's a bit drive, that woman's a bit drive. So, yes, that is where I can say, okay, I will say, okay, we are not completely leaving the fact that you shouldn't, overspeed. You shouldn't drive at limits that you shouldn't drive at, So, but we have to look at other, like I always like to say, checks and balances. We have to put checks and balances in place.
Exactly.
On Nigerian roads, patience is sometimes more. If you are driving on the road, Mary, you go here. This one they drive like a woman. If it's a woman, a man. This one they drive like a woman. If you are a woman driving a car, and maybe somebody is in the area and they're trying to leave that place and whatnot, you hear and a woman safe. So, you know, we've mocked patients on the road so many times.
That driving is for people that are mad. People that are mad. I don't know how true that is, but the government needs to do their part. The road safety needs to do their part, because when are we going to have road for trucks, just trucks alone, so that we know when all these casualties are happening, we know where to face our focus, because trucks dragging road with normal vehicles does not actually make sense, and trucks don't run that fast. Somebody say, truck run fast, so it's you that is not close enough. But there are some drivers that would be impatient, like you said. Patience is one key. There are some drivers that will be impatient, staying at the back of a truck, drinking all the smoke. What if you don't have AC? What if you need to wind down and all these smokes are coming in? You want to overtake now for your own peace of mind.
Of course.
That's where most of this overtaking comes in. So can we just, in peace, have road for just trucks? Because these trucks are spoiling our roads. Even the manageable road, that you would manage to want to drive, and these big trucks are spoiling the roads. And then you see potholes here and there. In the process of wanting to escape one pothole or another, now you might go and jump another truck in front, and that will result to you having an accident.
Exactly.
So when do we, as a country, because we know that we have a lot of spaces to make roads, when do we actually put ourselves together to say, okay, let me not say we, the government, because the government is for the people.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the people, Abi. So when do they want to actually have road for just trucks, and just dedicate it for all these big trucks to be passing, so that we can differentiate where trucks are passing and where normal vehicles are actually passing?
Very important that you started talking about putting the right infrastructural facilities in place, and also the government's responsibility. I mean, before that, we were talking about our responsibilities too, as drivers, as private car owners, as citizens. You know, we'll forget that fact that physics no know all of those speed reduces reaction. They don't know speed will not reduce reaction time at all. That's what we'll forget. We'll forget that physics does not even respect who you are. It doesn't know anything. Those things that I'm not a science student. I wasn't a science student, but I think I did it in an elective course, physics, and something they taught about speed limit and whatnot. When it happens, when overtaking will just remove that margin of error. You will not even see it coming. That's where we do not know. But then going back to where you started from, infrastructure and all of those things. I mean, like I started off saying, many of our highways, and like you've mentioned, are not good. And I said that in the news review segment. See, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
More emphasis on that.
This place, first of all, is an economic lifeline. We should know, because it's a busy road. They're transporting goods, they're transporting this, they're transporting whatnot. People are moving every year and there, even now and then. And you see heavy trucks, they're carrying heavy loads. Fuel tankers are passing there. Intercity buses are passing. Private vehicles are passing on these roads daily. Yet, we are still going to see issues of, is it that stationaries are broken down? Because I think this was a truck that was broken down. Yes, it wasn't moving. And I think they did not know that it was not moving. Or before the driver knew, he was trying to, that's why he was on high speed. So before he noticed that this car is not moving, it's a stationary, it's a car that broken down, he was trying to overtake, and then that was when everything, went down. So let's see. I'm going back to before I even go to emergency response timing. All of these stationaries, that will break down on the road. Trucks will break down on the road. They are reflecting a lot of warnings countless times, or they have reflected lots of warnings countless times rather, because this has been the reason why we've seen many accidents occur.
A lot.
A car will break down on the road.
They'll not put any sign.
I'm saying this because I come to work every day from the far end I come to work from. And it's almost like every day something is happening along Lube Airport Road and Gwagwalada Road. Every day you see cars will be there for hours. I'm talking of 5 hours. I'm talking of 6 hours for like 3 days. When you go and check, they'll say, what is happening in the front? Or you think it's a different thing. Maybe a truck has broken down. And that is what will keep people on hold for like 3 days. You will not go to work on time. You'll be on the road. So all of these things are we should put them in place. Talking of all those poor lightning, you cannot even...
Can't count.
I am a living witness of all of these things. That's why I'm very, like, it almost seems like I'm very passionate talking about this, because you drive on the way and you cannot even see the next car
coming
close to you. You won't see the next car coming. You won't see anything. We drove past Lube Airport Road and there are street lights. When you start getting to Soka, okay, I think after Soka, because that's where the airport roads
they call it smart drive. Smart way of driving.
Okay. You will not see anything again when you get to, is it Ido and all of those sides? It's pitch dark. Like, you cannot see anything. You cannot see the next car coming to you. So that's where we should do better with street lighting. It's very important. And all of those road signage. Where the road signage, it stops in the cities. In the city center, you see all of these things. But when you start going to other areas,
yes,
and that's why, that's how Lagos Ibadan Expressway is. It's not like the city center. So when you leave city center and you start going to these roads, and these roads are very, like I said, they're economic lifelines. They are very, very important roads. That's where food will pass through. That's where oil will pass through. That's where everything will pass through.
Now what about the traffic lights?
What about, that's the traffic, no traffic light, no proper signages. Construction of roads will take up to 100 years. Like, it's almost like every time you are passing those roads, they are constructing roads.
Complete it at the
end of the day. Like, I've been going to... For the past 10 years now, they have been trying to do Lagos Ibadan Road. For the past how many, every time, it's almost like every time they are constructing roads with little guidance. Even if roads are on construction, at least there should be proper guidance. Okay, take this turn, this is where this should follow, this is where this should not follow. And Mary, speaking of emergency response, I remember me and you were talking about it before we came on set.
Exactly.
It's a big problem. To be fair, authorities say responders arrive promptly in both of these incidents.
That's their report. But
that's the report we are getting. I call that press statement because...
Of course.
Okay. Let me give it to them first that we are making progress in Nigeria. They arrived early. But then we should acknowledge the emergency awareness and coordination have not improved in some areas. How long will it take an emergency response team to get to where an incident have occurred in Nigeria? The other day it was fire service. A warehouse close to the office here was it on fire or something? And before I think when they called the fire service, they were like, they did not have fuel. And when people say these things, they feel like people are making a fuse or joking around it. The other day, somebody was saying they had to call police for a case, and the police people said they have to fill the police people's... so all of these things in Nigeria are happening. I don't know where we are going. No. If you...
I think we're not putting eye into the most important things, but we're seeing it to be small things. And these things we see small, the things that cause bigger casualties. Like, why would you have a fire service and you're always advised to call a fire service, and when you do, the response is poor? You either get a response or you get no response at all. And it's very, very discouraging, because all these things happening right now, what if accident happened in social area and you're meant to call the road safety team to come for rescue, and you call them before maybe the person is half alive, before they would arrive to that scene, you see a lot of dead bodies because they did not arrive early. What's happening? The government should look into it. What is going on?
In the video, is it a video or a picture? People were complaining on the internet that Anthony Joshua was made to sit down. When a person is being rescued from an accident scene or something or whatever, you are not meant to sit upright. It was put in a police van. First of all, a police van. Should a police arrive first before an ambulance? Okay, first of all, it was made to sit upright and in a police van. Like I'm emphasizing this. How many trained paramedics do we even have in Nigeria?
Exactly, that question.
How many ambulance? Because
how many ambulance have you seen so far?
We're talking of ambulance availability, Mary. We're talking of response time. we're talking of trained paramedics. I was seeing a movie, and I think I was sharing this with you before. I was seeing a movie about paramedics, and I was seeing it's a US, a Hollywood movie, and I was seeing how, you know, the paramedics team in the US works, and I was fascinated, positively fascinated. I was happy. I was like, does this even happen in Nigeria? I never knew that the paramedics team is that much of a serious job. And I was even tagging, I was sharing it with who again? I was tagging it as it's almost like as more serious, more delicate, more demanding than doctors' job. Not like I'm undermining doctors' job, but because these are the people that are the first call to response. They are the first call to aid before you get to the hospital. They are going to ensure that your life is stabilized at least to an extent. See you, that you are still conscious, okay, or see that you are still unconscious, but they are not the ones who call you dead or alive. But at least they are the first persons
to help
you get in contact with, help you out, stabilize you and all of those things. So I was just thinking, when this happened, I have to, reference back to that movie. I was like, how many trained paramedics do we have in Nigeria? In that movie, I was seeing how serious these persons are with their jobs. Like they are calling them. It's just as if you are calling the police. They have a station.
Okay.
So you are calling them. If it's something is happening here, they have sent this other team. Oh, vehicle 00 whatever, or truck whatever. These ones have run to this other end. These ones have run. Like, I'm just thinking, because we do not have enough hospitals.
Yeah, sure.
We do not have even equipped. Even if the hospitals are available, how many of them are even equipped? That's the thing. How many of them are even equipped?
Standardly equipped.
I'm just looking at so many things in Nigeria. There are so many issues here. There are so many lapses, and
it's affecting us.
Survival too often depends on, geography and luck in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's either this thing happened to you where you have a hospital close by, a proper hospital, or you are just lucky. So it's most times as if we are just dependent on luck in Nigeria. Let me even say luck. Let me not even say the geography, the time you are going to get to the hospital, because you can have a hospital close to you, and then they may not respond to you proper, or they will not have the proper equipment there to handle your case. So it's almost as if we are dependent on luck in Nigeria, and it is not good. And for the journalists in Gombe, that tragedy reminds me of, all of this. In short, all of this incident reminds me of that response system, how fragile it is, how fragile it still is in Nigeria. In 2025, I'm going back, because in 2025, and in one day time we're entering 2026, and we are still talking about all this. We are hearing of these stories, Mary, and we're talking about it because important lives, people of status, people of class are involved. But then,
which would have been prevented.
You get beyond status and class. Nigerians are dying every day because of bad roads. Nigerians are dying every day because of, lack of enforcement. Traffic laws are not enforced. Little to no driver education. Vehicle standards. Some rickety vehicles are still on the roads. They are fuming. We were talking about climate issues the other day. They are fuming bad air. Sending carbon monoxide to the air, to the atmosphere, endangering our lives in one way or the other. And these things are not good. Our lives matters.
Very important.
All lives matters. All lives matters. We are not saying this because Anthony Joshua is
not
involved. We are not saying this because journalists
were involved.
Our colleagues were involved. We are saying this because every lives matters. Your life, civil servant's life, artisan's life, everybody, the market woman's life, everybody's lives, matters. And then, Mary, you were talking about something concerning accountability and responsibility, of the government. What do you think should be, done? You were mentioning some of them the other time.
Yeah, I said they should try and make sure that things are put into place, structure-wise, because we need all these things to safeguard our life also. In as much as we're facing we are in a difficult phase, which I know is going to pass over with the past year as we're entering into a new year. But in as much as that is going to happen, the government should look into our roads, most especially because these roads are where we do our daily movements. You can't want to stay in your house forever because the roads are bad. If you're not driving, you are, of course, in a vehicle that is driving you, or you're trekking or you're about to cross. So it can happen to anybody at any time. So we want the government to look into our roads for our life's sake, so that we can, you know, maintain this peace we are all looking forward to. So I believe, like I always used to say, 2026 is going to come with great things.
Okay.
And by that time, our roads will be structured well, and then we'll have another separate road for the trucks.
Okay, we've spent much of our time here.
Yes.
Just like Mary have said, just to wrap it up, I mean, responsibility is for the government and for the people as well, you know. Like you said, government should enforce traffic laws consistently, you know, strengthen emergency response, regulate heavy duties, you know, invest in driver education, all of those things. And to citizens, we have to respect our roads, respect speed limits. It's very important. All of those reckless drivings, overtaking is not advisable. And, you know, also maintain your vehicle. Maintain it so that they will not go and fail on the road and now cause accident for yourself and other people. Yes, let's just normalize. Let's refuse rather to normalize dangerous driving. It's not good. It's not pride. It's not I can drive. I sabi drive. You corner that motor well. You sabi drive. No. This we are talking about culture, cultivating that culture, that habit of, you know, living responsibly and doing the right thing. Not about this is not a policy issue. But then we have to wrap it up. Today, the question still remains: how many more lives must be lost before road safety becomes a national priority? Before road safety becomes a culture for the government and for the people as a responsible. When do we start seeing it as a responsibility, you know, to uphold that good culture? Okay, you can join the conversations online, share your thoughts, experiences, and suggestions on road safety using our official social media handles at Idea TV, you know. And you can also use the program hashtag if you want. Hashtag Idea TV. So let us know what you think should, you know, what do you think should change when it comes to enforcement, when it comes to infrastructure or driver behavior? That's where we draw the curtains on today's discussion. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Cynthia Basi, and I've been with
Mary Ojimajo.
Okay, and we are saying stay safe and drive responsibly.